Hello and welcome to Meet Our Makers, an artist interview podcast produced in association with Beats Per Minute. I'm your host, Jeremy J. Facette. On this episode, we get to meet Nandi Rose, otherwise known as Half Waif. Under the Half Waif name, Nandi has been putting out music for quite a few years now, including last year's smart, weird, brilliant pop album, The Caretaker. And coming up this summer, in July, she has a new album coming out called Mythopoetics. In this chat, Nandi and I talk about her life during the past year or so under the COVID pandemic, including rediscovering her love of nature in her rural home in upstate New York. We talk quite a bit about her new songs, what was on her mind while she wrote them, as well as what it means to her to break down those barriers between performer, celebrity, artist, and audience. We discuss a little bit about the natural inclination to look for silver linings in times of great strife, as well as the really lovely feeling when you can allow yourself to be proud of yourself. So thank you for listening, and please enjoy. This is me meeting Half Waif.
Ice's one, which was awesome. I really like her there.
I was so excited to talk to her because she's sort of elusive.
Yeah, totally. Like I listened to her a bunch right when I was starting Half Waif, 10 years ago. So she was like kind of an influence on me.
Yeah, and I was so excited. She was like one of the first like people from Connecticut that I knew who made music. And I was like, oh, there's like people from Connecticut who make music. And then of course, turned out there's like a whole bunch of people, but
yeah,
you know. But yeah, thanks for listening. I don't know if anyone listens to this stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to like see what the format was like. And
oh, it's pretty informal.
It's great. Yeah. Okay, I don't need to be too nervous.
No. So, okay, now that we're on the record,
Here we are
in this moment. So it is, since this won't come out for a few weeks, we should say it's early March right now.
Yeah.
Things are looking sort of up.
Yes.
I am an English teacher, so I'm half vaccinated.
That's amazing. Congrats.
It feels great. My arm hurt for 3 days, but it's
and you're in New York.
I'm in Connecticut.
You're in Connecticut.
I'm in central Connecticut, not New York.
Well, I asked my sister.
You are in upstate New York.
I'm
right?
in upstate New York,
Okay.
yes. And my sister is a teacher in Massachusetts, and they're only just starting to vaccinate teachers there, which is insane because she's been in school teaching. And
me too.
It's not a good situation to make our teachers go back to school and not be vaccinated. So I'm really glad that you are, and she is about to. And my husband's getting vaccinated on Monday, and my mom just got vaccinated. Like, it's happening.
It is. Teachers just started here March 1st, so we took a while as well. For whatever reason. Yeah. I know, and we, and probably Mass too, are doing pretty well with vaccines. So it's like, I don't know, I can't imagine being in some other state that it's like so behind schedule.
Right.
Because I'd be freaking out as a teacher. Because we've been in the building almost the whole time this year.
Wow.
So.
Well, I'm so glad that you're.
Yeah. So things are looking up. How have things been with you?
You know, what a question.
It's a loaded question.
It is. And it's, I mean, I've been thinking about it a lot as we approach the 1 year anniversary of when we went into this lockdown, this quarantine time. I actually bought a smudge stick, and my plan is on the 1 year anniversary to go around the house and just purify it, be like, I can't go into another year, having the kind of darkness of the last year taking up all the corners of the house. But yeah, I mean, I'm doing well in this moment. I'm very happy to be talking to you, seeing a new face. But it's just crazy to me how, we're going to look back on this time as like COVID time, but actually it for me at least, it encapsulated so many different periods and so many different feelings. I mean, there were, phases where I was totally unhealthy, drinking too much on the couch, not doing anything, very despairing. There were times where I felt completely energized and motivated and excited about, new opportunities in my life, and back and forth, really kind of oscillating between, moments of hope and moments of despair. So, yeah, it's like it's really not this like blanket, COVID time. It actually contains so many other little microclimates and like other little
Yeah.
periods within it. But I'm feeling hopeful, and I'm really, really happy that spring is just around the corner and you can really feel it. It was like in the 50s today.
Yeah, yeah, it's so beautiful today.
Yeah, and that I mean I guess that's also been part of it, is just the, the seasons have I've felt the weight of the seasons even, more intensely this year. Just being in one place, being able to admire and appreciate the change of seasons here in the Northeast, but also feeling the weight of winter in a way that I never had before. So I'm glad that we're coming out of that time because it has been pretty intense the last few months.
Yeah, I know. And winter is such a sort of like cloistered up season anyway, but we couldn't even go anywhere to be cloistered up with other people.
Right. No,
So it's like extra like enclosed and,
right.
not really many friends you can see. You can't go to restaurants, you can't do anything. So
No,
yeah, this winter was especially wintry. And then last summer, I mean, we didn't get to do much of anything because that was like the most intense time.
But there were
So,
still like, at least there was going for hikes and picnics
mm,
and whatnot,
that's
taking
true.
advantage of that. And I live, yeah, in a really rural area, so there's a lot of great nature around here. And that's been the biggest gift for me of this time is I grew up in the Berkshires in Western Mass in a really small
Mm.
town surrounded by woods. And so I grew up feeling really connected to nature, spent a lot of time at my family's cabin in Maine. And then, eventually found my way to New York City. So the opposite of that. But returning to upstate and then being kind of forced to be home for the last year has really like allowed me to reconnect with my other passion besides music, which is nature. And so I've been really like doubling down on that and learning about the environment, and it's been great. Bird watching.
Yeah, there's been an influx of bird watching.
I'm not
Um,
mad about it.
no, and that's kind of the thing too. It's like for all the horrible shit that's come with this, there is a silver lining if you want there to be one, in that, it has given a lot of us more time to maybe dabble in other things that we wouldn't have normally thought we had time for, or like you're kind of saying, like revisit old things we used to really enjoy and then kind of lost sight of, and it has given us that allowance. I don't know that I'd say it's worth it, but
Right, right. But
but
we
it's
have to
been
find
very
the silver linings.
right. And it's like, well, what are you going to do if not? I mean, you said
Right.
you had moments of hope and moments of despair, and those, without those moments of hope, this year would have been so much worse.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I think that is like a human inclination, a good one, that we
mhm.
do find the silver linings in like really, really challenging circumstances, because otherwise, like, how do we move through it? How do we move forward? But yeah, I feel like I've been doing Half Waif for like 10 years now, basically, which is crazy. And I think, I feel like in order to have gotten to where I am now, I kind of had to be really narrow focused. Like you have to make music your entire life. And I have absolutely no regrets about that.
Mm.
But I think this year has shown me like, okay, well, I can't tour. All my shows were canceled. I put out a record at the beginning of the pandemic. And so that has been an unexpected gift to be like, oh, there are other things that I love. And there are other parts of myself that I maybe didn't allow to grow prior to this.
Yeah, and so I mean, having that allowance, that time, and that space, it could be worse, I suppose,
Yeah.
but I'm glad that you were able to sort of reconnect with some of the old passions, kind of dig them back up again. Because yeah, it is easy to kind of get caught up in just the speed of everything and the chaos
Yeah.
of everything, and that's kind of, for a lot of people, if they're fortunate enough, like I'm assuming you and I both are, that's kind of what this time has has given us at least is a space for slowing down. So,
Hmm.
when you slow down, sometimes you find some nice things that you forgot were there.
Yeah, I actually just wrote a new song called Slow Music, and it was about this idea of like reframing feeling stuck, because I have been feeling really stuck in a lot of ways, just not knowing how to move forward and feeling like things are moving so slowly and I'm ready for things to move faster, but I have no control over it. And so if you change your perspective, everything around you becomes musical. It's just like a really slow form of music. Like if you retrain the way that you listen to things, this is like very John Cagean, but the wind like whistling through the trees is music. Your own breath is music. And so I think, yeah, I'm trying to kind of look at it differently. Like the slowness is actually giving me a new way of appreciating sound and appreciating my surroundings.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you have new music sort of coming and that you've been working on stuff. Have you been kind of building that sort of new lens into your work? Have you noticed that impacting your work?
So I really have not written much music at all in the last year. That song I just
Oh,
mentioned was like one of the only songs I feel like I've
oh,
written, like really, yeah, since the beginning of the pandemic. I was writing a little bit more right at the start, but I was thinking about, because I was wondering why. I've definitely had phases of productivity and phases of stagnation musically, and as a songwriter, but I was like, why am I really not able to write music right now? And I think a big part of it is like, for me, and I know for a lot of artists, the spark of inspiration comes from travel and from new situations and new circumstances, and it gives you new perspectives on things when you're in motion, and you're like experiencing new landscapes and new people. And so, yeah, it's kind of hard to know what to write about when you're stationary. I mean, I guess you could write about that, which is why I wrote the song Slow Music, but there's only so much you can say about that when you're in the midst of something as big as this pandemic. I also think it's really hard to find the words to explain it. So yeah, when you're saying like, how are you doing, it's also that it's like, well, I'm still in it. I don't have that sense of perspective, and that sense of perspective often comes from us leaving our homes and
right.
going out into the rest of the world, and we're just not given that opportunity right now. So I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself. Like I am actively putting out new music right now, and I'm putting out a new record this year. So I have written a lot. It just it just hasn't happened so much in the last few months.
So then most, if not all of that new record that's coming was written pre-pandemic, but was it finished already pre-pandemic?
It was not. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was recording it. Yeah, I wrote the songs like actually when I was just finishing the Caretaker. So I hadn't even like finished mixing the Caretaker. We hadn't finished mixing it yet when I started writing the songs for Mythopoetics, my new record. And it was it was such an unexpected outpouring. Like I wasn't trying to like immediately write another record. But these songs just, really came out at that time. And so I was in the studio working with my co-producer Zubin in December and January and February, just really excited, like things were moving. And then March hit, and we had to find a way to continue to work together while we were quarantined in our respective homes. So we were doing it virtually, which I honestly really mourned for a while, because we had such, being in the studio with a collaborator that you trust and love is just the best feeling. It's like, going to a playground every day. And we had some amazing sessions for that record. So it was really sad when it was like, oh, we can't do that anymore. And we're going to have to finish it in this kind of frustrating capacity where we're, looking at each other on our screens, and we've got the lag time, the latency of like trying to play things back. And, but we did find a way to do it. And I recorded my vocals here in my music room. And, it's interesting. Now it's become this record that's like, yeah, the songs were written pre-pandemic, besides one of them, which was written the first week of the pandemic. But the recording process is like this patchwork of before and after.
Yeah, so it's almost like this weird like capsule of both ends of this, time, like just before when none of us really saw it coming, and then like kind of probably embedded in the recording in some subliminal ways is just after when like everything hit.
Totally.
So it
Yeah, it
exists
is.
in this like liminal space.
Yeah, it is an interesting, yeah, time capsule.
That's
Exactly.
interesting. Because most people that I've talked to for the show anyway, because a lot of people did shelve their records for a while to kind of hold off. But then a lot of people did put stuff out over the last year, and a lot of them said, "Oh, well, it was done, way before the pandemic." And
Mm.
so it's kind of interesting. I don't to have written one just before and then recording it kind of during is sort of interesting.
Yeah, and I'm not really like I understand why people held their records, kind of waiting for, waiting to see what would happen with the industry and waiting for touring to come back. But I don't know. I get kind of impatient, and there's already such a lag between when you write the songs and when the record's out. And so I think that this is going to be the second record that I'm putting out like during a pandemic, which is
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, I hope by July, things are looking a lot different, but we don't know yet at least as of when we're recording this, we have no idea if touring is happening this year. So
Yeah, because even if, most people get vaccinated, I don't know how rapidly the venues are going to reopen, and then maybe some areas of the world / our country will reopen, whereas others won't. And
yeah,
I'm very curious to see how touring goes. So you had shows that got canceled because of it?
yeah. So I was supposed to do US and Europe dates
Mm.
last year for the Caretaker. And so, yeah, that's also funny because the Caretaker dates. Oh, can you hear that? It's the train.
Yeah.
The train goes right through our yard. I love it when it does its horn. It's like saying hello. Um, but yeah, so put out the Caretaker, had all the tour dates canceled, and now I'm putting out another record and hopefully going to tour it. But it makes it so that the Caretaker was this like strange record that like might never. I mean, I'm sure I'll play songs from it live and shows in the future, but it's almost like the forgotten child.
I know, it's like such an accident. Like you could have never planned for that, obviously, but it's such an unfortunate accident that it came out, and then you were about to tour it and you couldn't. And also, I mean, for whatever it's worth, it was kind of a bit of a breakthrough album for you in terms of visibility, I felt like, because it seemed like it got more coverage than a lot of your past stuff. You had a lot of singles from it. I was seeing it around, come year's end. So it seemed like quite a bit of attention was placed on it, and then you couldn't even tour it. And how nice that would have been to be able to get these songs out in the world. But like you said, I'm sure you'll find a way to integrate them into the tour of the new album.
Yeah. I mean, and certainly that was a big sadness, was just like wanting to experience the record with other people. When you spend so much time, and that record in particular was something I wrote and worked on alone for a while before I brought in collaborators. I put so much of myself into it, and I think I really was looking for that that connection, and just to be able to share it with people like in real time, and didn't really get to experience that. But I'm glad that people have found it. Regardless, I'm glad that it has made it into people's ears, and I'm really appreciative when I get notes from people like, oh, they are listening, and
Yeah.
you never
Well,
know.
that's the thing. You never know, especially probably now when record sales are so weird. Like, you don't, like in the past, you could be like, oh, my album's at number 3 on the charts. And so obviously people are buying it, but now it's like, I guess it's like a void. You just release it and you just kind of
That's
like
it.
hope.
And you have to let
Hope.
go. And that's also something I'm grappling with a lot, or just kind of trying to get better at, is just like letting the work kind of stand for itself, and being having a little bit more confidence in myself. Just like, this is the thing that I created, and I made it for a reason, and it's a statement of who I was then. It doesn't have to stand for who I am now. And yeah, and to always just kind of keep creating and not like hang my hat on any one thing.
Yeah. And the Caretaker seemingly, and I don't know how different this is from the rest of your work, but it seemed like quite a personal record, as you kind of just, hinted at. But are you someone who, does that make it hard for you then to play the songs live, or are you pretty good at like divorcing yourself from that so you can perform?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think where I land on that is like, um, well, I have really bad stage fright. I get like, I get nervous a lot. I'm nervous right now.
Oh, I am I'm super shy. Don't worry. We're in the
Yeah,
same boat.
it's like, yeah,
I
introverted
have all these
extrovert.
guitars behind me. I've never played a show because I'm like, I can't. I'm so scared.
It's hard. But I think the way that I've kind of, it's a workaround for me is that the only thing I know how to be is myself.
Mm.
And it's actually more nerve wracking to try to play a part or like to withhold parts of myself or to try to craft my image in a certain way. That's just like, that seems scarier to me and something like I don't know how to do. So instead, it's like, I think that's why I write such personal music and I am a very earnest person is like that's the only thing I really know how to do. And it makes me feel a little bit less nervous. Just be like, I'm not trying to control this thing. It's like I'm just being myself and I'm offering up the stories of my life. And it's also just the quickest way to connect with someone is just that, brutal honesty and vulnerability and as scary as that can be in its own right, I think there's a lot of like really fertile ground there. So yeah, so I don't mind playing such personal stuff in front of people. I think that's like where I've had some of the most joyful and greatest experiences has been connecting with people around those like pretty personal and yeah and deep stories.
Yeah, I feel like I noticed quite a few of them off the Caretaker too. I mean, my mind immediately goes to In August, which is very plainly sort of quite a sad song, but to me it sounds like it's about sort of the dissolution of a friendship of some kind. I don't know if that's what it's about, but that's what it sounds like to me.
Completely what it's about. And
And it's so like you say, it's so earnest in a way, and I think that's a really good word for it because it's not like you say you're not playing a part. Your words don't have that like word play, like guise of like literary writing. Like you're just kind of laying it out there, and I don't know. I could see myself having trouble performing something so honest, so personal, so honestly personal. So, I mean, kudos to anyone, including you, who can get up on a stage and do that. But I get what you mean. I mean, I feel like people often go one way or the other. It's like you go on stage and you are sort of a version of yourself because it's like a protective layer, or you need to just be fully yourself, like present in the moment.
totally. And I've seen it work both ways. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
toured with people. I toured with someone who literally was like, don't tell them about yourself. They don't want to know about you. Just like go out and play your songs. And it really worked for them. And like, that was great. But I was like, that's not who I am. And that's not what I'm going to do. So you kind of just got to find what works for you.
It's kind of like when you go to a show of someone you really like or maybe even idolize and they say nothing the whole time to the crowd, and it's like, all right, well, the show is good, but I would have I don't
Yeah.
know, there's like that remove that happens when that happens, and I get why people do it, but I've been to so many shows of people I love who don't even really say hello. They barely say thank you, and it's not even probably out of rudeness. It's just out of that sort of like, I'm here to perform
Right.
and I need to do that, and that's all I'm gonna do. And I get it, but there is a niceness, I think, to when that layer is kind of removed.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Kind of brings us into into the fold
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. And I'm really interested in like removing the boundary between performer and listener. Like we are such a like celebrity driven culture and all about like, yeah, idolizing, putting people on pedestals. And I get where that inclination comes from, but I think it's really dangerous,
Hmm.
and really detrimental, in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, I started a Patreon this year, which I was really nervous to do, just because I didn't want it to come off like I was trying to like, sell myself, like sign up for my Patreon and I'll give you my diary entries.
Yeah.
But it's actually been the total opposite. I have like a really wonderful community of people there. And we did a Zoom live stream a couple weeks ago and I got to just
Oh,
like chat with everyone and learn about them. I mean, people are so
yeah.
interesting. People are doing really fascinating things. And it felt really nice to be able to like actually hang out and talk.
Yeah, and that's kind of a little silver lining of this whole thing too, is like when you play a real show, I mean, you might get a 20 people responding to your question, but you're not going to get like, oh, so what do you do? Like, you're not going to get that connection.
Right.
And maybe it's for the best in some scenarios, but I mean, the fact that you were able to do a Zoom show and it wasn't even like weird that Half Waif is doing a Zoom show because it's so normal now.
Yeah.
You get to sort of connect with these people. I think that's actually really nice.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And
Yeah,
Patreon has been such a godsend, honestly. I think Patreon is such a cool avenue forward for so many independent artists.
I
I think,
totally agree. It's honestly made me a more creative person. Like it hasn't felt stifling to my creativity or I feel like corralled into like having to perform for this audience. Like it's been really encouraging because I can kind of explore like all facets of my creativity, on this platform. Like I'm not just sharing songs, I'm sharing poems and essays and just like random musings and that's been really nice. It's like very encouraging to like explore the full range of yourself. You've got a dog
I do have a dog.
there?
Oh, my
I've got a
boyfriend's home.
train. You've got a dog.
I know. My boyfriend's home. That's why she's barking.
Oh,
Although I don't know why she's barking. She's usually happy about it. Anyway. But yes, I think Patreon is really nice because like you say, it gives you that community because no one is going to contribute to someone's Patreon who doesn't support them like mentally too.
Mhm.
And so if you get that, I mean, I would be shocked if people don't get that one or two like jerks who are like, where is my fucking like exclusive single? Like, they need it. But mostly I think people are like, wow, that's actually really cool that I can chip in $2 a month and we get access to you and you get access to us and we can talk about stuff and you can continue making the stuff, which is why we're even here in the first place. And I don't know, there's something really, really nice about it that stuff like Kickstarter never had,
Mhm.
there's such a personal quality to it.
Right. And those Kickstarters, that like I did an Indiegogo for like my first full length way back in the day and it was great. But those are like so finite. It's like this amount of time, this amount of money, and then it's done. Whereas Patreon, it's like all about building and growth. Building something together with, with the patrons. So
Yeah, I know that sense of community, especially not that it is from this time. I mean, it predates COVID, but especially now,
yes.
Patreon communities, I've noticed people be very thankful for them.
Mhm.
So that's really nice. So we mentioned you have new music coming, but you actually did put out 2 singles already this year. Orange Blossoms and Party's Over. Is it The Party's Over?
Just party's over.
Just Party's Over. That's what I had in my notes, and I'm like second guessing myself now. So basically, I just want to know, what are these songs about for you and why pair them as opposed to kind of delaying the release?
So, right. So when this is out, we have announced a new record.
Yes, people know about it. If they don't, that's their fault.
So there's actually another single that came out in March called Take Away the Ache, but it was not a part of the 7-inch. It was kind of a standalone single. I mean, the thinking behind this record, it's very much another, COVID record. And that when we were coming up with the campaign for how to release the music, we wanted to try something a little different. I mean, why not? This is a time to try new things and not necessarily just do the same like album announced, 2 singles and the album's out kind of thing, which I've done a lot in the past. So we were excited about the idea of releasing like a bunch more singles and kind of building it up, building up the intrigue a little bit more slowly and letting the songs, the initial singles kind of breathe on their own before revealing that they're actually a part of this bigger world of the record. I was really clear that I wanted Orange Blossoms to be the first one. That song for me, I think it's one of my favorite songs I've ever written.
Isn't that such a nice feeling, by the way?
It's a nice feeling. And like, part of me feels shy saying that, but it's like, it's totally fine if people disagree. It's like, that's just such a personal feeling of like, I've been writing music, I've been writing songs for a long time. And this is one where I felt like I did something a little different that I was excited about. I mean, structurally, it's got 3 different sections. It's, in that way, it's through composed, which I'm always really interested in writing. I think it's hard to write a through composed song because, we've been trained and programmed to write, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, whatever. And so what it says to me is like, I didn't set out to write a through composed song. It just came out really naturally. It was just like a very organic expression. And those are always my favorite songs, where I almost feel like I didn't have too much of a hand in writing it. It just, it needed to be written in that way. But yeah, I wrote it at a time when I was kind of taking care of someone really close to me who was going through an addiction that he was overcoming, but he was at a really kind of low point, and needed a lot from me as a member of my family. And, I wanted to be there with him, kind of helping him through this, but it's so painful and so hard not to kind of take on all of that. I mean, even just talking about it, I'm like, I can feel my body kind of like tensing up, because it's hard not to have that transference of emotional weight. So I was feeling it really acutely, and honestly, like really struggling under the weight of it, because it's really, really hard to watch someone that you love struggle, and to know that you can only help so much. I mean, that's the thing, is like, we can't do things for each other. We can support each other through the hard times, but it was really hard to kind of bear witness to that. So taking on all of that feeling, that's like where the song came from. Just like, somebody do this for me, somebody buy me roses, somebody check my email, just this like litany of like desperate pleas. Like, can somebody just do this for me, because I don't have the energy or the capacity to do it for myself. But again, it's also recognizing that fallacy of like, no one's going to do it for you. You've really got to do it for yourself. So yeah, so I guess that song and a lot of the songs on the record are sort of this mirror image of watching someone go through a struggle, and then recognizing that like I was going through, if not the same thing, at least an echo of it, just by bearing witness and by being in proximity to it. And with the idea of it being a family member, there is the sense of like family legacy and, patterns that are passed on between generations. And so I was really aware of that. Like, is this something that I'm also susceptible to? So I wanted to share that as the first song, because it felt just like a really raw and true offering, and a song that I was proud of. But then I wanted to follow it up with something a little less heavy, something, a little more danceable. And so that's why Party's Over came out second. It's not that it's like a totally light song. I mean, there's also some heavier themes of, dealing with feelings of not belonging, and that's something that I'm sure everyone has dealt with, feelings of not belonging. Like, talk about a really human human idea. We all want to belong so badly, and there are so many ways in which we feel like we don't. And for me, that's always manifested, or it's manifested, more recently as I look at like my identity and my background. Just like I'm half Indian, and just like the idea of being half, I mean, it's in my band name. The idea of being half is like not necessarily knowing where you fit.
Yeah.
And then musically too, that's like been a tough thing for me to navigate over the years. I think it's just like not really knowing where the music fits stylistically, and like, what does it sound like, and which bands to play with, and all of that. So I channeled that idea into this song of like being outside the party, and like, oh, you weren't invited. Like, of course I wasn't invited, like, yet again, but walking away from this party knowing that you weren't invited, and just like with every step gaining a strength of like, I am going on my own path, and I don't even want to go to that party. Like, that party's lame. Like,
they didn't invite you, so why would you want to be there anyway?
Exactly. And so it kind of becomes a more celebratory song, starting from a place of real of feeling small and feeling sad, but letting that blossom into something much more powerful.
Yeah, I love that though, because it's like, taking that moment where you feel low and being like, well, wait a second, I don't have to feel like this. Like I can turn this around and own this moment as opposed to having it own me.
Exactly. I'm really interested in, song as alchemy and song as transformation. And in fact, the record, I think a big theme of the record is transformation. Just like how do we take these feelings and these, potentially destructive family legacies and stories and transform them into something that we can live with, that we can learn from, that we can grow from, that we can celebrate.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, it's a weighty and powerful thing to try to get into a 3 minute song, and yet here we are. It has been done.
Yes, that is always the challenge. How
Right.
do you put it into a pop song?
Right. And speaking of, I was going to ask because you mentioned like feeling sort of an awkward fit with certain sort of realms of music. And I feel like your work is usually classified as pop or synth pop or electronic. And are those genre labels things that you're comfortable with, or do you still feel like you exist kind of like in between them?
Yeah, I mean, I love pop music. I think that I have always really wanted to write like a certain kind of pop music, and this record I think is my poppiest, this new
Mhm.
album. I think I kind of pushed that as far as I feel comfortable going. So I'm not uncomfortable with those genre labels, but I sometimes feel like, it's just not quite that. It's like I think the music is a lot of different things, and I'm proud of that. Like I'm happy that there are a lot of different influences, but it can be hard when, yeah, when like you feel like, too weird for the pop kids and like not weird enough for the weird kids, and you're like, okay, which table do I sit at?
Seriously, yeah. It reminds me a lot of, I was talking with Zola Jesus for the show recently, and she was talking about her album Tygo, which is like her big pop album, and she was like feeling this weird like disconnect between her roots where she started making music and then she wanted to make a pop album, but she like didn't feel like it fit in with the pop crowd. And it like, it's like that weird in between where it's like, I don't know, we have this urgency to label things,
Yeah.
everything, music especially. I mean, seriously, we come up with these weird genre titles, genre names that really mean nothing. And it's just like, why can't we just let it exist, you know?
True. And also I think we only have so much control over it. Like I'm saying like this is my poppiest record, and like I bet there are people who would listen to this and be like that's not pop at all.
Yeah.
But it's like yeah, you kind of can only write the music that you write and like be be proud of it. I'm trying to I'm on like a long journey of trying to just, you know, be proud of myself. That's not something that comes easily to me
No,
at
it's
all.
hard. It's hard. And I mean, I mean, I'm also a songwriter and I have a lot of trouble with that. Like a lot of trouble being like, what I made is good because obviously we're our own worst critics, but also it's sort of like that fear of like, you don't want to be arrogant and you don't want to seem arrogant.
Right.
And I don't think you're coming off arrogant at all by saying you're proud of the record and saying that, Orange Blossoms is is one of your favorite songs you've ever written, because there's a difference between arrogance and like being proud of yourself. And
Yeah.
it's such a nice feeling when you make something and you listen back and you're like, wow, that's good. And you're like, I like this. Like
You put so
it's
much.
such a rare feeling.
Yeah, I agree. And you put so much into it. It's like kind of does it a disservice not to like take a beat and be like, okay, I'm proud of that thing that I like spent a long time on.
Yeah.
I think in the past I've just been very quick to kind of dismiss my own work and try to move on immediately and like distance myself from it. And I think that led to a lot of really unhealthy patterns in my life. And I'm trying to learn from that and grow and be like, yeah, I can be proud of something that I made. It's okay for me to say that.
Yeah, I think that's part of the hurdle is like we're afraid that that's a bad thing for some reason, that we'd be proud of our own work. I don't know how we all came to the same conclusion, but yeah, it's, letting those barriers down within yourself, I guess, to kind of allow that pride
Yeah,
without being arrogant, because again, it's not the same thing.
right. And it's also, I also feel like it's a sort of insulation against the rest of the world having an opinion on what you do, because that is just the nature of this work, is like, I'm sharing it so everyone, or anyone who listens will have an opinion on it. And I feel like I do seek that validation, and that's also a part of myself that I'm working on. But I think that is partially why I got into this line of work, just even stuff from childhood, like seeking that validation. But recognizing that like that really only means so much, and it only matters so much. And the ultimately, like the feeling I want to be left with is like, okay, I have grown as an artist. Like I'm learning and I'm trying new things and I'm pushing myself. And that was really hard. And I'm glad that I did it. And so by saying like, I'm proud of the work, it's sort of saying to myself, then it doesn't matter what people think about it.
Right. Yeah. Because music and art making in general is it's like one of the only lines of work where it almost lives and dies on critique. It's like everything you make, everything you release is critiqued one way or another. And that can be really crushing if it's negative and you're sensitive to it, which I think everyone is to a degree. I mean, how can you not be a little bit? But if you are proud and feel like you made what you set out to do, then yeah, it's kind of, like you say, it must be some sort of defense against that. Like, so you won't get so damaged by any sort of negative press or anything you don't agree with, because you've already gotten there yourself. So who cares about the rest of them?
Yeah. You've already gotten something out of it. Like sorry, hit my microphone. There's already been its own reward. You're not like seeking anything extra. It's like, I already got something out of that. And for me, making this new record, I worked really closely with my friend Zubin. We've collaborated on and off over the years. He worked on my record Probable Depths, which was in like 2015 or something, and played in the band really early on and played on the Tiny Desk. So he's been around, but we came back together for this record, and we had both grown and learned so much since our last collaboration. Like we'd really honed our skills that we came back together and we're like, whoa, we're like so much better at collaborating now. Like it was always good, but like it was magical working together. And I think that's also why I can say like I feel really proud of this music, because it feels like it's so much Zubin too, in a way that like I'm really grateful for. Like this process was just the two of us. We played everything on the record. We didn't bring anyone else in. He mixed it. So it was like a real testament to like our friendship, this album actually.
Well, that's nice though. It's like a relic now. It's like a artifact, speaking to this collaboration that you, and I'm guessing he also put a lot of value on, and now you have this actual artifact of it. So that's kind of nice. Yeah.
Really cool.
So the Orange Blossoms and Party's Over both got music videos. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they seem closely related, the videos.
I'm so happy you said that.
Why is that are people missing that? I feel like in my memory I remember thinking they're quite related.
Okay, good.
So but my question is like, how did they come to be, and how do you end up sort of conceptualizing videos as an extension of the music?
Yeah, so by this point in April there have been 4 videos.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, the 4 videos, yeah.
And they're all connected. So I'm pretty pleased about that. That's like never done that before. And so the videos are done with my other closest collaborator, Kenna Hines. She and I have made a bunch of videos together, and it's also just pure magic working with her. She's a really dear friend, and we have a lot of fun, sharing a bottle of wine and scheming on what we want these videos to be. So we started planning the videos for this album like a long time ago. I mean, I feel like it was like over a year ago, actually. We met up and I was working on the record, and I was like, I have an idea. Like, there's going to be motorcycles. She's like, okay, I don't know how we're going to do that, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's very Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah. That's also, it's just so fun with videos. Like, I love playing a cooler version of myself. So that's why, it's been, I mean, a lot of the videos that I've done are pretty fantastical and like playing, you know, these characters. I love fantasy. I'm a really big Lord of the Rings person, a huge fan. So Orange Blossoms was like definitely a nod to that world, like kind of playing an elf character. And then Party's Over getting to be, you know, this kind of badass motorcycle riding woman, and then Swimmer getting to be a bit of a warrior. And yeah, I love the ability to create these visual worlds that expand the edges of the record. Like working on an album, I'm just so focused on the music, but then once that all starts coming together, you start seeing beyond the music, like over the hill, you see this whole other world that's possible. And so, yeah, we had a lot of fun putting these concepts together and really wanted it to be this kind of fun goose chase between videos where, you know, maybe I'm just not sure people necessarily put it together that there's a through line, but I think I hope that by the time you see the fourth video, you can start to see how all four videos connect.
Are there going to be more? Is there one for each song on the album?
I would love that, but I don't think we have the budget for it.
I know. I don't know how people do that.
I know, seriously. We've done what we could for those videos, but yeah, I mean, it's not out of the question.
Yeah, maybe down the line.
Yeah.
Have you always been? Are you someone who likes music videos? Like, did you grow up like really enjoying music videos, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just love the like fantasy of it. I mean, as I said, I love fantasy as a genre, and just I think when I write, I think pretty visually when I'm writing music. Like even if I don't have a specific scene in mind until it's time to conceive of the videos, they feel like miniatures. You know, they feel like miniature like scenes in a movie or a film or a book. So I've always been interested in expanding the musical medium, you know, beyond itself and incorporating the visual world. So yeah, I think it's been kind of a lifelong interest, but it's really come to life in the last year or so, working with Kenna and getting to like ping pong ideas off of each other. We write all the videos together, and that's just like a very joyful process to imagine and to not put too many limits on ourselves. Like again, like when I had the idea of the motorcycles and I came to her with that, like she wasn't like, how are we going to do that? It was just like, okay, well, how are we going to do that? And we are going to do it, you know?
Yeah. She's like, when?
Yeah, right.
And also, you know, music video, I mean, I actually have no idea how old you are, but I am almost 28, and I feel like I'm like the last generation who like grew up like with videos, you know, like I very distinctly remember blocks of music videos on TV, and
definitely
just sitting down and watching them. Even if I had no idea who the bands were, maybe I'd leave for 5 minutes and come back. Like there were so just constant music videos, and that's so over now.
Totally.
And it used to be that, like you say, that fantasy of the video, but almost like the fantasy of the musician themselves, like getting to make a video was like the thing, you know, that was like the fun end goal. Like, oh, we made a video, it's real now. And now it's like, I don't know. I mean, there are modern day videos that are kind of modern classics. I mean, like, I don't know, I think of like This Is America is sort of like that, but like that kind of thing is so rare these days.
So there are actually two music videos that I think about when I think of like the first music videos I saw. Actually, three. One was Yellow, Coldplay. I think it was.
Is that when he's just walking on the beach?
I think it's when I realized that I was a sexual being, because I saw Chris Martin walking on a beach and I felt something I'd never felt before. So that sticks in my mind. I mean, I must have been I don't know, 9. But that was a pretty big moment. And then also the Alanis Morissette video for Ironic, when she's in the car. 4 different characters in the car. It's so good.
Yeah, that's a good video. And both of these actually quite simple too.
You're right. Really simple.
But sometimes those are the best ones.
Well, and that's why with the Party's Over video, that's actually the simplest video that I've made. And I was really nervous about it at first, because it's like me walking down the street singing. I was like, how many times has this been done before? Like, this isn't unique. It's not interesting. But I think there's something to be said for like stripping away all the like artifice and just being really direct uh and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, like letting people see you singing,
Yeah.
in a video, which like I don't do a lot of that, but I think there
I
would.
don't think a lot of people do anymore.
Yeah,
So much of it is with actors or dancers or, which
right.
is fine. But yeah, it does. There is something nice about kind of a classic about a video where you see the person singing the song that you're listening to.
Yeah, and just experience that moment with them.
And it's still artful because it is still a visual representation. It's a visual medium. And sometimes you just don't need all the, I don't know, gimmickry, trickery. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I think you're making me think of like, remember Duffy?
Oh yeah.
The British singer, and she has
Uh-huh.
that video, Warwick Avenue, where she's
I was
just
gonna
sitting in
say,
the back seat of the car, and the
yeah.
entire video is just her face, and she starts crying. It's very Sinead O'Connor, but like those kinds of videos, I feel like that's not really made anymore. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
And then like the Bjork video, "All Is Full of Love," is a great music video. Very simple. Obviously, it's all CG, but it's very simple.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I was gonna say, do you know Skull Crusher?
I've never listened to them,
Yeah.
but the beats per minute Slack is all lit up about them right now.
Put out a video of her singing the song in a car. It's like in black and white, and the someone's outside like showering water on the car, so it's just like it looks like rain just coming onto the car.
Oh, okay.
Like, and it was just so beautiful, and I was like, that's a great video.
Yeah, I'm such a minimalist. Sometimes simplicity is
Yeah.
the best way to do a video.
So I think, yeah, there's also something about like embracing that and not like shying away from it, and not being afraid to be simple. If it's effective and if it's real, then that can be all you need.
Which is true of music too. I mean,
Right.
Not every song needs every bell and whistle in your toolkit. Sometimes the direct ones
Yes.
are just as strong as the indirect ones. And I mean, even on your last record on the Caretaker, you had quite a mix of the kind of buoyant, like very full songs like Ordinary Talk, which I still get stuck in my head like every 5 minutes.
Do you cry in your coffee a lot?
What'd you say? Do I cry in my coffee? No, I'm not quite there. And then you have a lot of piano ballads on the record too. So it's like that mix, it's like not everything needs all the layers and all the dressing.
Right. I definitely was aware of like wanting to give the ear a little bit of a break. And it's something I'm learning. I think over the last many records, I'm trying to get a little bit more, be more conscious about the layers and not just like do it because it's fun to add a lot of shit to the songs, but like do it for a reason, make sure like every sound is actually occupying a very specific role.
Mm-hmm.
And then being kind to your listeners. That's something I'm also trying to do is like, you want to challenge them, you want to challenge yourself, to kind of create more intricate arrangements. But then it's nice to just be like, here's a piano ballad and like let's just feel this together.
Take a breath.
Take a breath.
So since this has been such a strange time in our lives, and I started this podcast in the midst of the pandemic, so I've been asking what people have been kind of going to in this time media-wise. So like, what have you been reading or watching or listening to, or what have you recently or in general over the past year? Like, have you found anything you really like? Has anything given you a sense of comfort or ease or something?
That's a great question. I haven't really been listening to much music. So if you have recommendations, please let me know because I am looking for some new music.
Send you a message.
Yeah, send me a message. Please. But I have been listening to a lot of podcasts. I've definitely gotten really into podcasts this year. I think it's just the feeling of wanting to be learning something if everything else feels kind of stuck and slow, and having our industry be on this indefinite pause. I've been, as I said, like reconnecting with nature and like wanting to learn some more hands-on skills. So I've been working with an herbalist, apprenticing with an herbalist, and learning about plant medicine. And so I've been like really into listening to herbal podcasts. And there's this great podcast called Sustainable World Radio, which deals with all sorts of topics on sustainability and the environment. So I've been really enjoying that. I just listened to one that was about natural dyeing, which is something I'm trying to get into also. So dyeing clothes with plants and natural materials. And I'm determined to have my first garden this year. So yeah, so listening to whatever I can that's gonna heal me and give me some new skills.
Yeah, well, now is the time too. Why not? Not an educational podcast, but I'm not a huge podcast person, even though I want to be. But the only like new to me podcast that I picked up was a fictional podcast, which I think are really interesting and kind of like a callback to like the days of radio, where like radio plays were a thing, and it's like telling a story with just audio. But there's this one called Earthbreak, which is like a sci-fi post-apocalyptic story that Jenny Slate narrates.
Oh, cool. And I've not heard that.
I love her, and I think she's great. And she's the only character. She's the only voice in the whole thing, as far as I know. And it's really interesting and weird and fun. And it's a great piece of acting, even though it feels weird, but it is. I don't know. It's a cool podcast.
Very cool.
So thank you very much for talking with me today, Nandi.
You're so welcome.
I really appreciate it. I don't usually just slide into people's DMs and ask them to come on my show.
I'm glad you did.
But like, honestly, most people on Twitter don't have their DMs open. And I was like, I'm gonna just send her a message and see what she says.
Yeah, well, it's just really nice to connect with people, and
well, I'm glad you think so, because
slide into my DMs. Like I like hearing from people and connecting, and just be nice to me.
Oh, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, because more than one Beats Per Minute writer wanted me to ask this very silly question. Okay. If you are half waif, where is the other half of the waif?
I'm trying to find the other half.
Okay. That's as good an answer as any.
That's why I write music. It's like the other half is somewhere in there. And
so are you the waif? Are you half of the waif?
I'm one half of a waif.
Okay. That's all. Okay, fine.
The other half is out there, though.
Yeah, well, you'll find it.
Yeah, I'll check back in.
Yeah, let us know, because they need to know.
They need to know.
I'm sure you also need to know. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I look forward to hearing this new record, which you said will be out in July?
In July, yep.
Okay. So we look forward to that. It is April.
It is.
So people know about it and they are excited. And hopefully we get a nice summer surprise from you. So that's very nice. All right. Thank you very much for talking with me.
Thank you, Jeremy. Great to talk to you.